Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, I found another very rare. It's the first time I've seen this game out there in the offered. It's just amazing how many actual ESP training games, I guess you could call these. But these are ESP tools that were used in many parapsychologists' laboratories, research institutes, etc., like SRI, Princeton's engineering, and so many other people that have done ESP research. And these are great tools to get your ESP energies going. And I always talk about this: shifting tools, stimulating tools, etc. And it really doesn't matter if you are successful at using these initially or not, unless you're doing it as a training tool. But what you really want to do is use stuff like this before you tune machines, before you do any kind of alternative works, concentration, trying to draw energy in from our energy cells, using any of our tools in general, our machines, our boxes, etc. You got to get into the energy flow that is way different than the normal one you're in. Now, normal consciousness is just that. It's there to drive a car, to do your job, to clean your house, to cook, whatever it may be. These are not high states of consciousness. So these are not high states of functioning at all. Basically, they're virtually neutral states because while you have to be concentrative to do these things to a degree, they are not something that's going to kick in your higher sense abilities. Second, so when you go from doing whatever you're doing and then try and do something that is bioenergetic in nature, try and dial a machine in, try and even use stuff using our many different homeopathy plates, our other energy plates, doing a simple candle ritual, no matter what it is, you need to shift your consciousness. People don't get results because you're operating from the same reality that you are normally existing in. This is really terrible. And you're going to fail. You have to be in the groove. Now, this is talked about in many different ways, and of course, everybody knows who's ever did something at a high level, whether it's making something, it could be painting, carpentry, it could be a sport. People say, I'm in the groove now. Everything is working properly because your consciousness has shifted away from the normal into the extreme abilities reality. Now, here's a great, interesting, as I said, I've never seen this before. This is from Toy Fair, 1980. And as usual, everything seemed to have come out in the 70s into about 1985, even from the middle 60s to about, I would say, to about 1985, where there was these 20 years of people looking for something greater than stupid science, stupid religion, and started to work on their higher being energies, which are in all of us. We just have to use them. It's just as simple as that. Not that some people, that everybody is equal. It's just not true. There are people who are psychic who do better than others. Simple as that. But the whole idea, it is a muscle, and everybody can build a muscle. Whether you can build a muscle and look like Mr. Universe, well, that's quite questionable because it takes a huge level of dedication and some natural abilities, meaning you have to even have natural muscles to a certain extent that you make bigger. But everybody can get good muscles. They can build themselves up. And it's the same thing with ESP. And again, which is electronic sensory perception. A game for 1, 2, or 3 players. All electronic design with 15 player pieces, which we'll show you. It required with lights and sound. Uses 3 AA batteries, not included. Let's look at the side of it. So it's pretty straightforward. Each side is the same. I like to make a record of these things because no one else really is doing that or saving these. And I don't really have the room to save all these things. But I do record them, and they are on a film for prosperity, so to speak. So these are recorded, and people should know how much of this really went on particularly through the 70s into the 80s until we got into the negative religious fanatics that started with their evil ways, otherwise known as the Reagan born-again Christian types, who are really about nothing but evil. Okay, now, let's open this up and take a look at it. So this is a cool little unit. I have no idea what this actually sold for, but you got to remember that's a long time ago. I'm sure it wasn't very expensive. And what this basically is, it's a random color generator. And, you know, you could call it a random number generator, but instead of showing numbers, it shows a color. And you have this really cool looking triangle. Let's open this up. Oops. It's packed in this styrofoam, which is pretty tight. And I don't think this was used very much. It certainly does. It's like most things in life. People tend to buy stuff and they don't use it. And you've got these nice little tokens that go with this. They're in 3 colors here. They fit nicely in here. I did drop a piece, which I can't find, but it's not essential for what we're doing. They also apparently gave you a little replacement bulb. So you get a replacement bulb there. Now, I've been playing with this. I don't think it's working right, but you can certainly get the idea. It takes 3 AA, no, 2, was it 2 or 3? But regardless, AA batteries, the bigger type. It has your on and off switch there. I have left it on trying to get the electrical heated a little bit. You turn it on. It also has sound, which is kind of annoying. I'm not sure if that's supposed to stay on or not. But basically, you have these that light up, and you're supposed to determine, and here's the trigger, you're supposed to determine which one of these are going to light up once you trigger it. So, and it shouldn't be doing that easily. There really is no instructions with this. I don't know if it's missing it or what's going on. But you basically would put this on a table. And what's nice about this is you can use it yourself. So many things that you can't use yourself, and I always like that because it's highly unlikely that you're ever going to find anybody that has the same interest that you do, whether they're wives, husbands, friends or not. People are shallow. So, as a flea's belly. So the whole idea is you want to predict here when this button is pushed, you take a color where you think it's going to end up, or you can wait until it's pushed, or you can actually just take a color and put it on here when it's going. Oops. And then it beeps. So you push it, it flashes. As I said, I'm not sure if this is working. I had it going before, but it doesn't seem to be lighting up here. It's unfortunate with these things, but I mean, they're very old, but this really, it was working a little bit before where the lights went around. And as I said, you're supposed to, which one of the lights are going to light up? And sometimes it seems to work just on one end. So we got these 2. Which one of these 2 is it going to be? Red again. And here we go again. Why this isn't lighting up, we just don't know. Now it's blue. So that's basically the premise of it. There's a lot of things like this. My favorite one of these is the Perceptron, and made by Russell Targ and the SRI Institute there. They were behind the design of it. These are very rare to find, and they have a similar light-up system. And there's a few, quote, tools or toys out there. I'm trying to forget which. There is one that was very common, which had lights light up, and you had to follow the lights and so forth. But electronic sensory perception. So probably this, if this worked right, it would be a great little tool. So which between those is going to be blue or red? It was blue before. Oh, now it goes to the green. Here we go. It's working again. Or maybe it's supposed to work like that. It's going to be rare that the green lights up. Let's try it again. Again, it stays a green. To some ways, it's such a random that you really never know. Now that didn't come on at all. Here we go. Now it's kind of switched over to here. I can see that. So now it's red. So the red and blue are going. Back to blue. It does seem that green doesn't show up as much. Now, I don't know if the bulbs are a little loose in here or not. I probably will open this up and tighten it up to see if I can get it to work right. It is a cool little thing. Very simple, very easy. But for 1980, this was relatively complex little electronic things. At this day and age, it's nothing. But as I said, it's kind of like a random number generator, random light generator. So these two, which of these two is it going to be? It's red again. So it is fairly difficult to predict this if you're just trying to think about it. And you would think that this was supposed to be involved as well, but it doesn't seem to be. And I'm not sure why when you put something in here, that tends to light up unless that's affecting the circuit. Same thing here. Kind of odd. But it's too bad something like this isn't made today. It could be made very inexpensively, and it would be a great warm-up tool. Now, there's a lot of warm-up tools. There's a lot of tools I've shown you that will actually good for what we call shifting. Shifting from the common reality into the biophysical or psychic reality. And this is a kind of tool that you would use. Obviously, this doesn't seem to be working as it should, but it is kind of cool. And even if you're just trying to figure out what a 50-50 chance here, you're not supposed to make it difficult. Failing is generally bad. It should be easy. So that you go from a successful changing of your consciousness into tuning a machine or doing something else. So it is a fun little machine. I will play with this a little more, see if I can get it to work a little better. As I said, it's got the lights, it's got the sounds. Very, very interesting. ESP game, electronic sensory perception. Game for 1, 2, or 3 players from Toy Fair 1980, manufactured in Hong Kong. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Lots more fascinating items to come. Another training tool from the past, which now I have made a nice little record of.